Hi, externship students. It's Lisa Bauer from the Career Services Office, and I'm very glad to talk to you today about how to make the most of your externship in terms of your career development. So primarily every time you're finishing a legal internship, externship experience, you want to make sure as soon as it's completed or even while it's substantially in progress, you add it to your resume. It's important to constantly update your resume, especially semester to semester as you're a law student, because you're gaining experience very quickly. So the first thing you want to do is update your resume with your externship and load a current resume into Lock. And if you don't remember how to do that with Lock, we're going to show you really quickly. I'll share the screen. Here is a random Lock profile. You would go to application materials, resumes, add new resume, choose it from your desktop, and then submit it for approval. It is likely that most of your resumes will be auto-approved. If you had an approved resume as a first year, it is likely that we chose auto-approve from that point on, so you could update your resume easily every time you have an experience. So update your resume with your externship, load it into Lock again. If it needs approval, it will go into our system for approval. It may take a little while because all of the 1Ls are putting up their resumes for the first time. If you need it imminently for job applications, just shoot us an email and we'll get to it right away. So you're updating your resume after every legal experience, internship, externship, any of the above, clinics, simulated classes like a mediation class, trial competitions. And when you include your externship on your resume, you may not know exactly how specific to be. All of the general rules regarding any legal experience will apply. So, don't disclose anything that's confidential, be specific to show the skills you've developed, be general when they need to be analogous to another practice area. If you do an externship in an area that's not where you want to work permanently, and give the reader something to think about asking you in an interview setting. So to show you a couple of examples here, I'm going to share a couple older resumes from students that you likely do not know. And the first one I'm going to show you is a very general description of an internship. So legal intern, Town of Wheatfield Town Attorney's Office. This was an externship through the school. Attended court appearances and town board meetings, assisted town attorney with factual analysis and legal research. This is pretty general because the student did not want to go into municipal work, but it's still specific enough to give you something to talk about in an interview. Perhaps what kind of legal research did you do when you attended court appearances? What kinds of things did the town attorney have to appear on? What did you do at meetings? Did you keep the minutes, etc.? So it's enough, but not so much that it's super specific to municipal law. You can see further down in the resume, the student is more specific about the family law clinic because that is what the student wanted to do. So you see more detailed documents, prepared family offense petitions, protective orders, substantive memoranda, among other documents. Which courts? Family and IDB courts. Whereas because the town attorney work was interesting and developed skills, it wasn't what the student wanted to do ultimately. So it's more general. Switching to a more specific resume, this particular student was an extern at Damon College for the regulations internship. That was compliance related. Make it a little bit bigger for you. This particular student was looking to do compliance related work if they could find it. And so you'll see there are more bullets under her externship here, and they're also more specific. Created a course for coaches and staff, assisted with squad sheets, general research and writing, learned about NCAA applications, and how to handle investigations and violations. Again, she's got 2 general bullets as to research and writing and investigations and violations, which could be applicable to any particular job, especially in the compliance arena. But she's also got specific NCAA compliance here because that's what the student wanted to do. So to review, make sure you update your resume with your externship information. Make it general if you're thinking of going into a different practice area, but include something to talk about in an interview. And make it specific if it is in the arena that you're going to be looking for your next job in, or your ultimate post-graduation job, to show that you've already got experience in the arena. After you've updated your resume, you're going to upload it into Lock. So we always have a current picture of what's going on in your career and how to help you find new postings for future experiences. After you upload it to Lock, we will approve it unless it is auto-approved. And then we encourage you to come to career services, perhaps over the break by Zoom, or perhaps in the spring semester. But if you're looking for your 2L summer internship or a post-graduation job, it's not too early to start now. And it's definitely not too early to come meet with us, especially just to talk about what you've learned in your externship and start institutionalizing that as part of your career identity. That brings us to our second point, which is talk about your externship in interviews. It's a recent experience, so it may be easy to talk about, but you may also not have refined your examples from that experience yet. So it is always helpful to take the updated resume you just did, see how you described what you were doing, and then think about, what example am I going to use when the interviewer asks me, what did you do at the town attorney's office? What kind of things were you researching? You were probably researching many different issues, and you can easily list them because it's current. However, you want to think about the issue that best displays your skills and your acumen as a legal intern. So think about something you can talk about that may have been complex to analyze, or may have taken different tactics of research to find the answer. And that's interesting and can hopefully create a conversation between you and the interviewer. To remind you, we have many interview prep resources on Lock in the resource library. If you go under interviewing information, you will have all of our interview resources, including our slide deck from the How to Interview, which you hopefully attended as a 1L. We have some information on virtual interviewing, since that's common right now. Some podcasts on specific interviewing with different types of organizations. But what I want to draw your attention to is always remember the interview prep worksheet. And, think back to knowing your resume. What is your resume item? Your new externship. Research regarding town of Wheatfield needs. What is the positive attribute? Able to be creative in doing research to find out complex issues. What is the story? Perhaps the story is talking about a new zoning law, which was difficult to research because there weren't necessarily a lot of cases on point, but you had to look to other similar towns and do some legislative research, board meeting research, perhaps FOIA requests to determine how other towns have handled the same issue. That can display your abilities to research, your abilities to analyze, and your resourcefulness and creativity in solving legal problems. So now you've got new positive attributes to talk about and a story ready for this resume item. So while it's great to update your resume, You then need to think about how you're going to incorporate that new experience into interview answers, and perhaps even into just networking by thinking about what was most useful in the externship and how your skills were developed. You will be ready when you just are talking to other attorneys about the legal experience you've gained and what kinds of things you want to do next in the legal arena. After you've thought about that and how you're going to talk about it in an interview, it is always useful to think about whether it's something you want to incorporate into your cover letter and your as a demonstration of your 2 or 3 main qualities. And you can always come in and talk to career services as well about how do I use this in the future, especially things where you may not find it obvious how to incorporate the experience into interview answers. It's possible you just did a lot of research the whole time because something really large was happening and the questions were complex and they needed research all the time and you never had to go to court or do anything hands-on. That's fine. We can help you pose the questions to yourself as to how best to demonstrate that research you did, or how best to demonstrate that you only went to court all the time and observed a district attorney. If you feel like all I did was go to court, I can't talk about research or writing, I didn't really develop any skills because I wasn't the one questioning a witness, that is okay as well. We will talk about how to incorporate what you learned by observing things in court into your story of you as a legal professional. And that is a good reminder to you all to meet with us at least once a semester, especially if you're still looking for, as I said, a 2L summer job or a postgraduate permanent employment. It's not too early to start. It's always good to think about it, even if there aren't a lot of postings for you to apply to right now. We can still talk about it, and it helps incorporate into your essential professional identity what you're going to say to current and future employers. We do encourage you to meet with us once a semester, if not at least once a year. So please update your resume after every legal experience and internship. Please meet with us once a semester. Please come in for interview prep. Even if you did it as a first year, you now have new experiences we can help you incorporate into your interview answers. And remember that Career Services is here for you. We have a lot of current postings. We have during the school year postings, we have summer postings up. There are postgraduate postings and lateral employment postings. We are a resource to students now and into the future as alumni. We can do additional resume review, cover letter help, interview prep, networking, simply discussing where you go next in your career path. You also still have access to the attorney assessment. If you're struggling with practice areas you might want to try, practice environments you're not sure if you want to do government or private, that's a really helpful tool. It's in the resource library on lock. I will share the screen to show it to you. You may have taken it as a 1L, but if you did not, it takes about 40 minutes. It is a very long and helpful report, which will give you a lot of information on how you work as an attorney and what attorneys you might work well with and what practice areas and environments. But it can also be difficult to interpret sometimes because you're a young legal professional and this is new. So if you have trouble interpreting it, please make an appointment with us. We have access to your reports and can help you interpret them. The attorney assessment is in the resource library, sorry. It is one of the first little chain links you will see. It is called Attorney Assessment, and it will take you to an outside website, which we've paid for the subscription for you. And you can log in as University of Buffalo and take it and then come talk to us about it. There are also some helpful videos that are very short embedded into the assessment that explains to you what it's doing. So I will sum up one more time. Please update your resume with your internship and externship information. Submit your revised resume to Lock after every experience. Come see us once a semester. Let us help you with interview prep and resume review if you need it, and additional cover letter review. Take the attorney assessment if your externship has prompted questions in your mind as to what you want to do and what kind of a lawyer you want to be. And we look forward to seeing you and helping you analyze all of that. Have a great end of your semester.